Are we taking a gamble with our preps? Hey guys, it's Jara with Wicked Prepared. Welcome back everyone. To those of you who are new here, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe. We have new content every week, all things preparedness and self-sufficiency, and we would love to have you. I've got another prepper pantry haul for you today as prices continue to rise every day. Last week, I told you about the canned chicken, and this week it was coffee, the K-Cups, pack of 100 K-Cups that I've been buying from Amazon since Wal-Mart's price went up. I've been buying them for just over $20. Last time I bought them was just about a month ago. And I noticed it just jumped up to over $35. That's crazy. So it looks like I'm going to be shopping around again for K-Cups. You know, it's always a gamble. The prices go up and you have to ask yourself, do I wait and hope the price goes down? Because if you wait, there's always a good chance that it will go up again and you'll regret waiting. There was someone in one of my food shortage groups on Facebook and she was just ranting. She said, someone said the prices were going up, so I bought a bunch and then the price went down. And she swore never to listen to anyone ever again. I have no idea what it was that she bought, and granted, most, if not all of the comments underneath the post were along the lines of, where are you? Because prices definitely are going up where I am. But guys, the point is it's always a gamble because no one can truly see the future. We can only see the signs and infer what might be coming. Bottom line is, don't spend money that you can't afford to spend on anything. I know that's getting harder and harder to do, but you've got to work out a way to do it and to prep that's sustainable for you, for your family, and for your budget. But in the end, I'd much rather have the supplies and have paid a little more for them than to run the risk of not having them at all. Because honestly, guys, never forget there are so many more reasons to prepare yourself besides just inflation and rising prices. Some people are losing sight of that right now because that's what's the big news. The shortages, the rising prices, but all the other reasons to prep are still there and still real. So don't lose sight of that. So let's head on over and see what we added to our preps this week. We did add a big level 3 prep this week that I am pretty excited about. If you saw my video a while back where I talked about how I categorize our preps into 3 levels, I'll link that somewhere so you can check it out in case you have no idea what I'm talking about. So come on over and let's go through this week's preps. So here is everything that we've added to our preps this week. Okay, so I'm going to start over here. The first thing I got was a couple of packs of Sharpies. I use Sharpies all the time when I'm doing my food storage. I use it for marking containers like expiration dates, when I purchase something, things that help me keep things straight. And I needed some more Sharpies. I meant to get the fine tip, what I usually get, but I accidentally got, I think, chisel tip. So I'm not sure if I'm going to return those or hold on to them. But I definitely use Sharpies all the time. And then we grabbed these plant markers. This is our only Amazon purchase, I think, in this haul. These plant markers are super long, and they're longer than the typical ones that we use when we do seedlings, because once they get transplanted into the garden, they start growing up and, you know, bushing out and all that. Sometimes it's hard to read the markers, and we grow a lot of different things because we're still doing a lot of, you know, experimenting with different things, and so it's just easier to be able to see the markers and know what we've got planted where if we use these extra long ones. And then I've got this was my second Thrive Life order from last month, I believe, because these were last month's sale items for May. So I grabbed a thing of chicken slices. This is my favorite chicken. I actually went back to order a case of this a little bit after I ordered this can, and it was sold out. So I missed out on that. So the next time this goes on sale, I'm definitely ordering a case. And then I got a can of blueberries and a can of bananas, which the bananas are one of my kids' favorites. But you can see how I do this here is I write the date on the top of the can. This is the date that I got these, or that I ordered these. And that just helps me keep them, because these are going to go down in my basement. We already have a supply that we're using up here. So this just helps me keep it straight so that it's easy for me to see amongst my supply what I need to use first. You can see I have this can of onion slices that was bought in December of 2021 that I just brought up to use because I just ran out of onions in my container. So that's how I knew that I had to use that container next. And then I do have this little spreadsheet that I put together, and this is just for basically my freeze-dried food that's down in the basement, and that just helps me keep track from up here of what I have so that when things go on sale and I'm trying to decide what I need to purchase more of, I know what I already have pretty easily without having to go down and go through it. But so these were just some of the things that were on sale that I wanted to grab. Now, if you saw last week's haul, the order I did before this had asparagus, beef dices, and sour cream powder. And this was a separate order. And then I also did order a case of the asparagus because we ended up liking that so much that we ordered a case, and that still has not come. So that should be here soon. So we'll probably see that in another haul. And then I've placed a couple of orders for this month in June because they've got a lot of berries on sale this month, raspberries, strawberries, blackberries, and shredded beef, which is one of our favorite meats that they have, is on sale this month. So I've gotten a couple cans of that so far, and some raspberries, some more onion slices. So those will be coming up here soon because they've got their shipping is getting expedited. They're getting things together to get rid of their shipping backlog, which is good news. So then behind that, I've got two 25-pound bags of sugar. Yes, I did just get 2 more 25-pound bags of the sugar last week in my haul. You know what, last week I was talking about the wheat exports and how India had just banned wheat exports, and I was going to be getting a bunch of flour and ordering some hard wheat and all that. And literally probably a day or two after that haul, India announced that they were restricting, not banning, but restricting their sugar exports. And India is the largest producer and second largest exporter of sugar. And guess who's the largest importer of sugar? That's us. So we're looking at the possibility of shortages and prices rising because of supply and demand. And so I want to make sure I have plenty of sugar. And we're also entering into a season when we're using a lot of sugar because there's all kinds of berries and fruits that are coming. And so we're making a lot of jams and jellies, and, you know, I made those lemonade concentrates that used a ton of sugar. So I just want to make sure that we have a good supply of sugar on hand. And then this is our level 3 prep that we got this week. I am super excited about this. I've been wanting to start adding some of these to our preps, and this is the first one. This is a CM7M gas mask from Mira Safety, and we grabbed this one because this is supposed to be just about the most universal fit of any of the masks. So we figured if anything, it might not fit Mr. Wicked Prepared, but he did try this on and this does fit him. And then we got one filter. This filter is a pretty crazy filter. This filter filters out all kinds of stuff. You can see here all the stuff that it filters out. So this is a good start. So obviously we need to get more filters. I do know there are some cheaper and like more simple filters that will fit this mask. It has a pretty universal size of where you put the filters on, and so I can get some simpler, cheaper filters that would be useful for a lot of situations that might not require this, because this would be good for all sorts of things. This could be good for chemical attacks. This could be good for biological attacks. I mean, think about all these crazy things that are getting released from labs lately. You never know what's coming next. And this could also be good for smoke and fires. There's a lot of wildfires. We don't have to worry about that quite as much around here where we are, but out west there's a lot of wildfires and people having to escape from the wildfires, so this would be good for that as well. Now, I know a lot of people who say that they really want to add things like this to their preps, but they just can't do it because they're not at a place where they can afford to get them for their whole family. Now, obviously, I totally understand that, but what I decided that for us, if we can get a little bit at a time, you never know when one might come in handy, because if there has been some kind of an attack and maybe you're in a safe place, but somebody might want to venture out and you don't know what the conditions are outside, you can have one person who can venture out to scope things out, to look for supplies, anything like that. So you could have a situation where just one person might need to use this. I know that I purchased a fire escape kit for our family, and I had that same idea. I thought, who do I choose to give this to, the first one, because it wasn't really cheap, so I could only afford to get one at first, and we're going to add more. And my thought process was this: I'm going to put this under, you know, Rob's side of the bed, because he is the one that in a fire would be responsible for trying to get everyone else out. So he got the first one, and then I will get the next one, because we would be the ones that would be trying to get everyone else out of the house. And so being able to stay conscious and protected would be important. And from there, we'll give them to every other member of the family. So that's my reasoning on things like this. If you can only start with one and build from there. Don't hold yourself back from getting something because you have to do it gradually. Sometimes that's just how we have to do things. We just have to start small and get a little bit at a time. So next I did get some cleaning supplies and household supplies. I got these two. This is the dishwasher detergent that I usually use. It's super cheap. One of these boxes lasts us about a month, and I try to keep about 6 months worth at all times. The only thing with this is that it's a powder and it's in cardboard, so you just have to make sure that it doesn't get wet. Other than that, it stays perfectly fine. And I just used one up, so I grabbed 2 to replace that and make sure that I have 6 down cellar. And this one I just got, this is the little packs, and I usually don't use these unless I get them for free or nearly free. But we have 2 dishwashers, and one of them right now, the door of the little detergent dispenser is broken off, and I found it wasn't cleaning that well. And what I realized is that's because all the powder is going in the very beginning. So it's working better with these because these dissolve gradually throughout the cycle, I guess, and dispense themselves. And so until we can get that dispenser door fixed, which I'm sure Mr. Wicked Prepared can do when he has a moment, until we get that fixed, I'm going to be using these. And then back here, I've got, this was kind of a leap of faith, but this was in the clearance aisle, and you can see it's marked down from, I think it's about $20 down to $9. So that was a good deal. But this is for a certain mop. This is for the Bissell Crosswave, which I don't actually have, but I kind of have been thinking of getting one. I know I've heard a lot of people really love that. So if you have one of those, let me know how you like it, because a lot of people say that they love them, but then if you read the reviews, there's some negative reviews as well. I'm thinking of getting that, so I figured while I could get a good deal on the cleaning solution, I grabbed this one bottle, and if I decide against the mop, then I will just return this. And then I did grab 2 of these. These actually were part of my last haul, but they were behind something, and I completely forgot to even talk about them, so I just stuck them in this haul. But these are, I love this fabric softener still. This is still $3.98 at my Walmart. This is a huge bottle. This says it does 152 loads. These are huge bottles, and they last quite a while. So every time I've been using one up, I've been buying 2 more, and then I write the date on it when I buy these things. So it just makes it easier for me to keep these rotated in my supplies, since they don't have expiration dates on them like food does. But that's another place that I use those permanent markers. So I literally use them all over the place. Now next I grabbed these 4 little hand sanitizers and little dispensers. I love these because I just like to have hand sanitizer handy, even though like I don't really like hand sanitizer that much, just certain times that you want to use it. And these were so cute. They're glittery. I don't know if you can tell that they're actually glittery and different colors. So I grabbed these from Dollar Tree because I'd never seen these there before. And then this, I just put this here to remind myself to tell you guys that if you check out your Walmart in the kitchen aisle, this was not in my clearance aisle, it was in the kitchen aisle. They had all sorts of kitchen utensils on clearance. All kinds of stuff was marked on clearance. Now last year when they cleared out that area, I was able to get a whole bunch of like manual can openers for super cheap and things like that. All those were sold out in my store this year, but if you check your store, you never know what they might have. So go ahead and check the kitchen section. There was pots and pans on clearance. There was all sorts of things. And then in the clearance aisle, I did grab these. These are probiotics. Now we do use probiotics on a pretty regular basis, but this is something that you want to make sure you have plenty of in your medical preps as well, and in your first aid supplies, because this is something that in times of stress and in times of maybe, you know, your nutrition is lacking, these are going to help you with your digestion. These are going to help you with your immunity. These are going to help you with all sorts of things. So this is a really good thing to have on hand. This is a pretty good price, and not only was it on clearance, but these were also on Ibotta, so I was able to get an additional $4 off of each of these boxes. So I grabbed 2. And then I'm going to move this one out of the way and go on with these household and health supplies. So toothbrushes, this is a pretty important thing to have extra of, because honest to goodness, if we weren't able to get toothbrushes for one reason or another, this is not something that I would want to run out of. Now, I don't typically use these manual toothbrushes in my everyday life. I use a battery operated, you know, buzz toothbrush, but this is just something. These are at Walmart. There's 6 of these for $1 in these packages. I was surprised that these were still $1. The price has not gone up on these. Now, this was a kind of a bonus for me because I did order, these are the firm, these are the soft. I mostly use the firm, and I'm thinking if it's, you know, a long-term emergency and you're having a hard time getting toothbrushes, you're probably not going to be getting to the dentist. You're really going to want to scrape that stuff off your teeth. So I got mostly firm. But I did order 1 pack of the soft, and they were out of, I guess they ran out of these, so they substituted the Oral-B, which is a more expensive. So that was a good substitution that I got. But these toothbrushes are just great. I buy these $1 for 6. That's amazing. That's way better than the Dollar Tree at this point, because they used to have their 6 for $1, but now they're $1.25. And we use these for other things also. If we have kids that spend the night who forgot a toothbrush, or, you know, my kid loses their toothbrush or drops it in the toilet, or goodness knows what else could happen, they can grab one of these. And then, of course, we have toilet paper. So much toilet paper. I try to keep at least 6 months of toilet paper on hand. More is better, but at least 6 months. I won't let myself go below that. Now, I was getting the packages that are just a little bit smaller than these. It's probably about 2/3 of the size of the same toilet paper at Walmart. And the price had gone up on that by a few dollars. So I had not bought toilet paper for a while. I was kind of avoiding it because I just didn't want to pay the higher prices, and I didn't really want to sit down and figure out where the best deal was going to be for toilet paper at this point, because I have a really hard time with toilet paper because there's all sorts of different sizes of rolls and every brand has different numbers of sheets, and I just have a really hard time figuring out how to compare, like apples to apples with toilet paper. But so I decided it was time that I really had to deal with the toilet paper situation, because obviously we are using it, and so I need to start replacing what we've been using. So I checked the prices at BJ's at our warehouse club, and they didn't have any really great prices on toilet paper. So I sat down with the Walmart app and I was looking, and I finally realized that I could really, if you look at the square feet, it tells you how many square feet of toilet paper. And so that was what I used to compare. And I compared it to the Angel Soft, which was looking like it was cheaper. But when I compared the actual square feet of the rolls, because they all say that they're mega rolls and it's, equals 96 regular rolls. They both said that on the package, but the Angel Soft versus the Great Value had more square feet. It was a less unit cost per square foot. So I had put 2 of these big packs, these 24 packs of mega rolls, in my cart. And when I went to check out, it told me that they were out of stock and I couldn't order them. So I just went ahead and placed my order, but I kept an eye on it. And of course, when they came back in stock, I put the 2 rolls back in my cart, but it wasn't enough to get the free shipping. It was just under. So I just added a 3rd pack because I figured you can never have enough toilet paper. This is not going to go bad. And so I just grabbed 3 so that I could get the free shipping, and that was all that I ordered. But these are pretty decent toilet paper, and these were a pretty good deal. So I was pretty happy about this. And I'm really going to try to build my supply up in case the price continues to go up and goes up again. So over here, we are on to some more food stuff. Now this was just in the clearance aisle, and I haven't seen really great deals on K-Cups in the clearance aisle, but this was a pretty good deal because it was $6 for 24, which means 4 for $1. And it sounds really good, coconut caramel crunch. So I did grab this. I like to have a variety of the K-Cups on hand for, if we have guests or whatever. And then I got these 2 Armor chili with no beans. Now these were from Dollar Tree. And besides the hand sanitizers, this were the only preps that I got from Dollar Tree recently. I just saw that these were the chili with no beans. Now the chili with no beans is always more expensive than the chili with beans, because obviously if it has no beans, it has more meat. And meat is more expensive than beans. So that's why, anything with meat is always going to be more expensive, whether it's freeze-dried, whether it's canned, whether it's, fresh stuff. You're always going to pay more for meat. So this was actually cheaper because Walmart's prices on their chili have gone up a little bit, which is, I usually buy the Walmart brand and we're fine with that. But their chili with no beans is more than $1.25. So this being $1.25 was a better deal. So I thought I'd try a couple of cans because we haven't really tried this brand before. So we just wanted to try this and decide if I'm going to buy more of these. And then corned beef, I got 5 of these, I guess. I'm going to check my car and see if there's one more because I'm not sure why there's 5 instead of 6, but maybe that's what I ordered. But the corned beef, I love corned beef. I like having this on hand in our canned meats. And here's the thing, I was buying the little individual packets of corned beef just for snacks for myself, and the price has gone up on those. And so I compared the price per ounce, and it's now cheaper for me to buy these cans and just cut it into several, servings to have. So I figured I'd grab some more of these to make sure we have plenty of these on hand. And then I got 3 more cornstarch. I actually was supposed to get 4, but there was only 3 in the store, I guess, because 1 got canceled off my order. This is something that I use for thickening, obviously, sauces, gravies, things like that. But we are going to try a new method of sowing our carrot seeds that we saw somewhere that they used cornstarch. That's interesting, so you'll have to keep an eye out for that video. But I did buy 3 of these to have on hand. I'm not out of it or anything like that, and I got the Argo brand because compared to the Great Value brand, it was almost the same price. It was hardly more expensive at all, and it's just a much nicer container. It's in a jar with a screw top lid rather than just a tube with a snap-on plastic lid and a paper tube. So I thought that this was worth the extra really few cents that it cost to get the name brand. And then I did get a couple more of these instant coffees. We did just use up 1 canister of this, and I have a system that I use with a lot of things where if I use 1, I buy 2. That's if I'm trying to build up my supplies rather than just maintain it. But it's something a little more expensive where I can't just go buy, you know, a case of it all at once. These aren't super cheap, but they're not really that expensive. And we do use this. This is not my preferred coffee for just having a cup of coffee, but I really firmly believe in not having anything that we just put away just in case, just for emergencies. I try to find a use for everything that we store. If it's not something that we already typically use, then I try to find a use for it. And so what we do with this is we usually use it to make iced coffees, because there is no way that I'm going to the coffee shop and stopping for an iced coffee or McDonald's or anything every day, because that is super expensive. So we just use this and we just put a couple spoonfuls in our cup and add a tiny bit of hot water to dissolve it. And then we fill it up with cold water, add our sweeteners, our flavorings, you know, our creamers, whatever we like in our iced coffee. And that makes a pretty decent iced coffee. At least I've gotten used to it. So that's what we use this for, so that we keep it rotated. But this stuff would stay good for a really long time. Like, I don't know what the expiration says, but really this stuff would stay good for eons. It doesn't matter what the expiration date says. And then I did grab, this was another clearance aisle find, $1.35 for this box of tea. I thought this was good. Sometimes the kids like to have tea, and this would be a good one for them. It's herbal tea, it's chamomile. This would be a good, like, bedtime kind of tea. So I did grab one of these. They like to have different flavor varieties sometimes. And then I got this, this is the Wal-Mart Great Value brand of basically Velveeta. And this is a pretty decent, like, I mean, it's not like healthy or anything, but it's pretty shelf stable, and we do use it in certain recipes. And I was just saying that the Great Value brand did not have the small 16-ounce block. They only had the 32-ounce block. And then my store started carrying the 16-ounce block, and they didn't have it anywhere. They didn't have it online or anything. I'd never seen it. So the reason I like the smaller block is so that I could include this in like a meal kit, where everything I need for the meal is all together in one bag. And so this is more of a small meal size amount. So then I got some instant brown rice. Now, if you saw last week, I grabbed those 4 like huge containers of the instant white rice, and that will store a lot longer than the instant brown rice. So these are actually just pretty small containers. But I can put this up in Mylar also. I use these in things like meals in a jar, homemade backpacking meals, you know, things like that, because the instant rice, all you have to do is put some hot water over it and it'll pretty much cook itself. It'll absorb the hot water and it'll be a really quick meal. And that can also be important for just any time during an emergency. If you have, you know, fuel is at a premium, you don't have a lot of fuel, you don't want to waste a lot of fuel with a long cooking time, you can use the instant rice. The brown rice is a little bit marginally more healthy than the white rice, but it doesn't store as long. But it's a good thing to have on hand. So that's why I got the smaller packs, and I got 4 of the smaller packs. And next I did get some more sugar related things, because I was on the sugar kick. I've gotten in the last, week or two, I've gotten 100 pounds of regular sugar. And so I did get 4 of these regular bags of the light brown sugar. I do use quite a bit of this, mostly in making cookies, but, you know, there's other things I use it into, certain recipes. I grabbed 4 of these. These should stay good. The expiration date is like at least a year out on these. I checked, but the worst that's going to happen is they could get a little bit hard, and usually they're fine as long as they're sealed up. And if they do get a little bit hard, if you just put a piece of bread, like sandwich bread, in the bag with it, it will soften right up. Usually it sucks all the moisture out of the bread and softens your brown sugar. So I've never stored brown sugar long enough to really have to do anything special with it. I've never tried repackaging this at all. I just keep it in this plastic bag. Now, once I move it to our working pantry, I do have this container that I use for brown sugar, and it's got a like airtight lid that I like. And inside it has this little disc that you can soak in water and then put it back in the container, and that will help keep your brown sugar soft. The same way that it would if you put a slice of bread in it, or some people I think put a piece of apple. But this is a little disc that's specially made for that, and you can buy little terracotta discs like that separately, but this came with the container. So I love this container. I can put a whole bag of the brown sugar in it when I bring it out to the working pantry. And then I also have one for powdered sugar as well, and this is kind of cool because it has a little sifter shaker top on it. So when I bring this out to the working pantry, I put it in these containers. And speaking of the powdered sugar, I did grab 2 bags of the powdered sugar because I was grabbing all the other sugar. I was on a sugar kick. This is a good sugar haul. So we don't use the powdered sugar as much as we use the brown sugar or the regular granulated sugar. So I only got 2 of these, but I have never had an issue with powdered sugar going bad. I guess I don't buy a whole lot at once because, like I said, we don't use it as quickly as some other sugars, but I've never had an issue. And then I found this in the clearance aisle, so I did grab this all-purpose baking mix. It's basically like Bisquick, but it's the Great Value brand. I have certain recipes that I use this in, like my my Just Add Water cornbread mix that I make that's homemade. That uses like a biscuit mix, like Bisquick, so I can use that in this. It just was a good deal because the Great Value is always going to be a good deal, and then finding it on clearance made it even cheaper, so I was pretty happy about that. This was supposed to be 4 10-pound bags of flour, but between the time I placed my order and the time they picked my order, they sold out, so it is actually, instead of 4 10-pound bags, it's 8 5-pound bags. So it comes out to be the same, and this will be repackaged. I'm not going to leave this in the paper. I will package this in Mylar with oxygen absorbers, but I told you that, you know, there's going to be issues with wheat. The wheat prices are rising. The wheat supply is going down. And so I wanted to make sure that I have enough supply of all things wheat. So I did grab a bunch more flour. I am going to be ordering some wheat berries. I haven't done that yet. So then the final things that we added to our preps this week that are not here, I did get 2 of the 30-pound bags. I think they're 30-pound bags of cat food for the cats. I haven't had any trouble finding dry cat food so far. I do try to keep quite a bit of that on hand because we have a lot of hungry cats. I did look for my small dog's dog food, dry dog food today, because I'm running low on that, and that was out of stock everywhere. Walmart, Amazon. I didn't check Chewy or, you know, places like that, but just my typical 2, Amazon and Walmart, was out of stock, so I'm going to probably have to look around and see what's going on with that. I might have to switch the brand. And then the other thing that we did add to our preps this week, not something we purchased, but of course I did all of my lemonade concentrates. I've got strawberry, raspberry, and rhubarb that we've added to our pantry shelves. And then I also did some American Chop Suey starter that's canned up. And then I did some pork carnitas that's canned up. And so those are all going to be going on the pantry shelves as well. Alright guys, so that's everything that we added to our prepper pantry this week. Let me know down in the comments what kind of things you've been prepping, what are the biggest price increases that you've been seeing, and what kind of shortages are you seeing or not seeing in your area. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We have a lot of videos coming up. I know we've had a lot of people asking us questions about things like storing dry goods in Mylar bags, about oxygen absorbers. We've had people asking us about our water storage, so we're going to have some videos coming up on all those things. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and leave me some love down in the comments. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave me a cake emoji down in the comments. I'm Jara with Wicked Prepared. Survive today, thrive tomorrow. We'll see you next time.